Hello students. So today we are going to discuss about charging by induction. So we already seen that each ball is charged by contact. We have question that why electrified rod attracts light objects, which is a question that we have still left unanswered. And so let us try to understand what could be happening by performing the following experiment, what is called charging by induction. So first one is bring two metal spheres A and B supported on insulating stands in contact as shown in figure number 1.4a in your textbook. So bring a positively charged rod near one of the spheres, say A, taking care that if does not touch the sphere, the free electron in the spheres are attracted towards the rod. This leaves an excess of positive charge on the red surface of sphere B. Both kind of charge are bound in the metal sphere and cannot accept, and they therefore reside on the surfaces as shown in figure 1.4b in your textbook. The left surface of sphere A has an excess of negative charge, and right surface of sphere B has an excess of positive charge. However, not all of the electrons in the spheres have accumulated on the left surface of A. Other electrons are repelled by this, and in a short time equilibrium is reached under the action force of attraction of the rod and the force of repulsion due to the accumulated charges that you have seen in figure number 1.4b shows the equilibrium situation. The process is called induction of charge and happens almost instantly. Third one is separate the spheres by a small distance while the glass rod is still held near spheres as shown in figure number 1.4c. The two spheres are found to oppositely charged and attract each other. The fourth one is remove the rod. The charges on the spheres rearrange themselves as shown in figure number 1.4d. Now separate the spheres quite apart. The charges on them get uniformly distributed over them as shown in figure number 1.4e. In this process, the metal spheres will each be equal and oppositely charged. This is charging by induction. This process is called charging by induction. The positively charged glass rod does not lose any of its charge, contrary to the process of charging by contact. When electrified rods are brought near light to object, a similar effect can take place. So now in the next page, so from the experiment, the magnitude of force depends on the distance between the charges, and in the case of the force of attraction overweighs the force of repulsion. As a result, the particle like bits of paper or pitch balls being light are pulled towards the rods. Now, so we are discussing about some basic properties of electric charge. So now we are considering point charge. So if the sizes of the charged bodies are very small as compared to the distance between them, we treat them as point charge. All the charge content of the body is assumed to be concentrated at one point in a space. So remember this thing. Now, first property is additivity of charges. So if a system contains two charges, let's say Q1 and Q2, the total charge of the system is obtained by simply adding algebraically Q1 and Q2. So that is nothing but Q1 plus Q2. If a system contains n charges, so basically it is nothing but Q1, Q2, Q3 and so on Qn, then the total charge of the system is sum of all charges, and basically it is nothing but Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 and so on plus Qn. So charge has a magnitude magnitude but no direction. That's why it is scalar quantity. Similar for mass also. So there is a difference between mass and charge. So important question for the examination. So mass of a body is always positive, whereas charge can be either positive or negative. Proper signs have to be used and while adding the charges in a system. So for example, the total charge of a system containing 5 charge plus 1 plus 2 minus 3 plus 4 and minus 5 in some arbitrary unit is plus 1 plus 2 plus minus 3 plus 4 plus of minus 5. So basically the sum is nothing but minus 1 in the same unit. Now the second property is charge is conserved. We already aware of that. There is a transfer of electrons from one body to another body in process of rubbing. No new charge are either created or destroyed. So a picture of particle of electric charge enables us to understand the idea of conservation of charges. When we rub two bodies, what one body gains in charge and the other body loses. So within an isolated system consisting of many charged bodies due to interaction among the bodies, charges may get redistributed, but it is found that the total charge of the isolated system is always conserved. So conservation of charge has been established experimentally. So sometimes nature creates charged particle. For example, a neutron turns into a proton and electron. The proton and electron thus created have equal and opposite charges, and the total charge is zero before and after the creation. Now the third point is quantization of charge. Experimentally, it is established that all free charge are integral multiple of a basic unit of charge denoted by E. Thus, charge Q on a body is always given by Q is equals to n times of E. So basically, Q is nothing but N. Now the next page, which is basically represent n is any integer positive or negative, and this basic unit of charge is charge that an electron or proton carries by convention, and the charge on an electron is taken to be negative. Therefore charge on an electron is written as minus E, and that on a protons it is basically plus E. The fact that electric charge is always an integral multiple of E is termed as quantization of charge. This was first suggested by the experimental laws of electrolysis discovered by Faraday, experimentally demonstrated by Millikan. In the SI unit, a unit of charge is called coulomb and is denoted by the symbol C. In terms of the definition, 1 coulomb is the charge flowing through a wire in 1 second if current is 1 ampere. In the system, the value of basic unit of charge is E is equals to 1.602192 into 10 to power minus 19 coulomb. So by the calculation, there are about 6 into 10 to power 18 electrons in a charge of minus 1 coulomb. The other smaller units are 1 microcoulomb is equals to 10 to power minus 6 coulomb, and 1 millicoulomb is equals to 10 to power minus 3 coulomb. So if the proton and electrons are only the basic charges in the universe, all the observable charges have to be integral multiple of E. So that's the basic idea. Thus, if a body contains N1 electrons and N2 protons, the total amount of charge in the body is N2E minus N1E. So basically, which is equals to N2 minus N1 into E. Since N1 and N2 are integrals, so that difference is also an integers. Thus the charge on any body is always an integral multiple of E and can be increased or decreased also in steps of E. At the microscopic level, charge value is very small, of the order of few microcoulomb, At this level, if charge is decrease or increase in units of E is not visible because it is microscopic level. This situation can be compared with the geometrical concept of points and lines. It is that the grainy nature of charge is lost and it appears to be continuous. Since E is equals to 1.6 into 10 to power minus 19 coulomb, a charge of magnitude, say 1 microcoulomb, contains something like 10 to power 13 times the electronic charge. So at the macroscopic level, the quantization of charge has no practical consequence and can be ignored. So now in the next lecture, we will do Coulomb's law and forces between multiple charges. So if you really like this video, please like it, share it and subscribe it. Thank you.